Hey, how's it going? Oh, hold on a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Somehow between then and now, I got a hair in my mouth. I think it's a hair. I don't know. Oh, excuse me. So, I'm gonna read you some cards once I get myself situated here. And first, before I do that, I'm going to have you please look at my signs. I might need to take that whiteboard down and do some stuff to it. Okay, so, every time I start to do this, like I have the radio playing in the other room, and I will be out there, I'm like, okay, I'm going to turn it down, and I'll get out here, and somebody's voice or like soprano saxophone will just be blasting through, and you can't miss it. It's like, oh, it's that song playing, so I have to stop. And this is like my pre-flight preparation or whatever. Like, I haven't even turned the camera on yet, so just know that I've already been out there and back and forth probably like 3 times because of what I just said, or the news comes on at like 3 times the volume of everything else, and it's like, all right, we know. I mean, is it that they know we don't want to hear it, but it comes out so loud, or ads. And you might be wondering, why don't you just play something? You must have some disc or something. Well, I mean, I do, but I mean, how much more of my kit for things other than the kitchen stuff am I supposed to drag in here all the time? So, it's a rhetorical question. The answer is, I don't want to. It's inconvenient. Like, one thing works kind of funky, but it's just, there's no ideal solution is what I'm saying. So, I'm just living with the radio for the time being. But it's been like a lot of months. I actually have internet now, like on my hotspot, but I can't even run my laptop behind me on it. It's so slow. It's so weak. It's a joke. So, but hopefully this month will go better than last month, because last month was supposed to be the month, and it wasn't. You know how that happens? Like, yesterday and today, the day started out, and I was like, this is what's going to happen. This is the plan. Everybody that was involved was on board, and then we get out the door, and everything y'all immediately went, just, so, I don't make plans. I don't know. So yeah, these cards are not that fresh. I pulled them early this morning, but it still felt like yesterday when I pulled them. But according to the AM PM metric, it was this morning. And I pulled 3 from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, and one came out, and I thought another one had gone on the floor, but I wasn't sure because it only looked like one. But I thought I heard 2, and then I looked down there and didn't find it. Hours went by. I don't know how I did it, but I rolled over the 3rd card. Like, not the wheels touching it, but just like in the space between the wheels. I don't know how many times, but like hours after I pulled the card, I found a 3rd one, also from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. So, the first card I pulled was Many Masks, and number 38. And the subtitle is The Authentic Self. Many Masks. I'll get to that. The other card I pulled was Cosmic Womb, the Divine Feminine, number 6. Oh, I guess I didn't really give you a look at the other one. So, yeah, these 2 first cards, they both have this, I feel like, opaqueness, although Of course, on the camera, it's pretty darn clear that there's like a plaster bust. And where is my indicator? Mask. I think there's another one right there. That's a moth, I think, which is interesting. But what I was going to say is this one and the other one are more opaque to the naked eye, like much more cloud cover happening in these cards. But when I put it in front of the camera, all of a sudden it's different. So, what does that mean? Am I not seeing with my eyes right? Or, like, is the camera somehow tricking me? I don't know. But if you look at this one, it's kind of, I feel like it's easier to see what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of hard to make out much of anything. This time, there seems to be a mandala in there. Some kind of geometric, maybe sacred geometric thing, or organism just tried to come out of my mouth, so maybe it's that. But how different is that from like a sacred geometry? Like, they can get pretty intricate. Like, I first thought of the seed of life, pretty simple looking, right? There's like math to it though, so not just simple, but also you're used to looking at it, or I am. Or oh shoot, what is it called when the sound vibration makes the water or the iron filings or the sand take a shape depending on what the vibration is? I just was something hold on. Vibration. Actually, I just saw a video, or a part of it. Hold on, let me write this. Hydro? What was I gonna write? Oh, what do you call those things in Egypt? They were on hieroglyphs. Okay. Yeah, so it was part of a movie called, I can't remember the name of it. Something the One. And I first saw it on a Cryon channeling video, and it was like it was an extra thing because it's its own thing. It's a movie. Oh gosh, I have to track that down. But what the preview clip was the scientist who's like the focus of the movie, and he is really tuned into vibration, and he's one of those people that he went to Egypt, right, with his vibration technology because he just felt like something about the acoustics. Well, he didn't just feel it, like there's a lot of discussion about it over time, about the function of the pyramid, like on the Giza Plateau. And so I think he was in like the biggest one. Don't ask me the name because I won't remember that either, but he was in that one. And he was in a chamber that wasn't that big, really. And there was a sarcophagus. And so whose it was, they say, I don't remember that either. I don't think that was like the really important part of the message, but he said that he went in there and he had to bring in his equipment and he had a backache, and I guess he just had a bad back normally. But part of what he does is he knows how like water or sand or iron filings, if they're on like a surface of some type, the particle things, and they're vibrated, all three things, they will display a certain shape, of course, depending on the vibration, right? So I know that was kind of unclear. This will be more clear. So he's in the chamber in this pyramid with his backache, and he sets up his equipment, and he spreads, I believe they said he spread paper over the sarcophagus so he didn't get like sand in it, and then put sand on the paper, a layer of sand, and then turned on his vibrations, and the vibration made the sand turn into shapes of hieroglyphs, even like ancient ones that, I don't know, there was something special about certain ones. They weren't as common. But what it said when they read it, it was talking about the spine and certain disc areas on the spine, and I'll just leave it at that. But he said that while he was in there looking at all of that, his back stopped hurting, and his back just never hurt again. So that's my head blowing up. Is that crazy? So okay. Okay, come back to the car to get out of Egypt. This circular business in the middle there seems to have little dark areas where it must be, I feel like it's kind of scalloped or something. There's like a little center depression hole, I don't know. It's unclear. So I guess it's unclear what this vibration does for you, but isn't that crazy? The guy was in the chamber, and like the chamber knew his back hurt and that his back was messed up and how to fix it. Hi, my head just blew up again. That's so cool. I don't even know the name of this rapper, but it's from the 80s on this cassette tape I have somewhere of just all these rap songs, and I know it's a guy from Oakland, and the most of the song is Egypt, Egypt, and I'm not gonna get in trouble for that because it's probably exactly the key, but it's the whole rest of the song. It's like 80s hip hop. It's got like pew 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 and boop 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 kind of sounds going on, and yeah, but it just, yeah, I was talking about Egypt, Egypt. And wow. That's crazy. So the third card that I found hours later was Muse. Oh, let me get it right. Joyful Muse, inspiration. And the number is 33 there at the top. So I'm a cat lady. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I don't know about you, but just like the thought of the vibrations and what they can do, I mean, does that not give you ideas about things? I mean, not that I'm gonna go act on them or anything, but just it makes me think so many things. Then that information has to get out there, because that's like Ancient Aliens TV show stuff right there. You know, it's weird. I saw someone talking about Ancient Aliens, and they pointed out something that I completely did not even notice. And I'm not even sure if I agree with it or care, honestly. Because a lot of the stuff they say on there, I think they get a lot of it right. You know, I mean, as crazy as some of it can sound, especially like ancient stuff, like how do you like know things like that? It's like a lot of stuff you can't just go look up. You have to find alternate ways of like sensing the information or finding your way to the information, or like there's always like, or often some kind of like twist or something that has made the information impenetrable over time, or just like we weren't up to the challenge of understanding it for whatever reason. But things do come out and become clear. I pulled a fourth card, and it was from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck, and it is Nightingale. So I actually when I pulled these, had some other stuff come to mind, and it was that I'm seeing a lot of things from other people talking about the same kind of things I've been talking about, like how the future is going to be a little exciting, and it's going to be up and down, it's going to be a roller coaster. I mean, I don't think we're there. We've gotten there quite yet with the stuff they're talking about. But if I confine my remarks to the U.S., which I often do, or try to stick to that, I know that it is a weird time here. Like a lot of, like if I say, like, because of like the Trump cases and stuff like that, there's so much attached to that affects so many other people than the man himself, and it's affecting like hearts and minds and the government, in which he's not currently a member of. He's another civilian like myself, lacking control, although he does have that former president veneer that he gets to wear. You know, it's funny, I don't know why he wants to make America great again. He doesn't seem like he likes it very much. Doesn't seem to like anything about it. Except that, he, it's like a carrion, or it was. The carrion has turned zombie and turned on him now, I think. So it's just kind of like an onslaught on the senses here right now, because people are talking about like crazy stuff, I feel like, and being as hyperbolic as possible, just saying the most extreme things, and at some point you're beyond getting a rise out of people. You're getting ugly and dangerous in a way, but thankfully we tend to like kind of hold it together. It's kooky looking right now. Like you could start believing like really bad stuff is gonna happen, but I hope you don't buy into that, because that would only help that happen. I feel like so. It's really like you gotta pick a side right now, and that's hard. Like, how are you to be amongst all kinds of different people? Like, I mean, just every day that I spend doing just regular stuff, nothing that I see on like the news or whatever about people having problems with each other. And I do see like Trump regalia and cars, but it's not like they're just wearing it. They're not accosting people or anything, but it's like the element is there. But when we're with a group of people that are all sort of in agreement, and you get a little mob minded, I've just been wondering, like, do they think everybody else is gonna switch to accommodate them? Because I don't think that's gonna happen. And I think that the tide is turning, incrementally, where people are starting to catch on, like, that he ain't it. I don't have the same grievances as these people have, and it's hard for me to agree with it, but I can't disagree that they have the way that they feel. And there's people have all kinds of sort of smug, glib sayings about a lot of things, but I feel like it's passing over the important parts. Like, somebody on some news show I was watching today said that, shoot, just flew right out of my head. why now? Why now I can't think. Well, what I was going to say about the masks is how do you function if you're that way, that extreme all the time? And that's what I'm saying. The presence is here, but they're not acting out like you see on television. And like they're like incrementally people are like leaving him and realizing, I don't know if it was like January 6th people that got arrested or people that like just all of a sudden said, wait a minute, maybe I'm not doing all of the right things or all of the things I thought I was. Because I have found that, well, most people don't have the time that I do to sit around and just look at news from all angles. Like I'm just here all day, and that's kind of like, I wish I could get paid for looking at something, because hi, that's what I'm doing all day. But don't, I guess, have the level of curiosity that I do, or the level of questioning authority that I do, because people say stuff all the time and you are listening to them and you're like, okay, that's not how the situation is, as far as I've tried to see from every angle that it is actually happening, and not see just what someone is saying about it. I want to see like reporting. I need receipts, you know. And I think people, well, I know this, just tell each other stuff and they're like, okay, I trust this person, what they said, but that's the telephone game. You can't be doing that. But anyway, I started to say something earlier about amongst all of each other, they can like fly all them freak flags, and you know, groove with each other, agree with each other. But out in the world, you are back to normal. You gotta like wear many masks. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So like, some of the increments, they could still be out there trumping it up, and you would never know that they're out there not voting for him, not voting for his candidates, until those returns come back. So, not just among that particular group, because like I said, he, the former president, has an effect on a lot of people. So it's not just people that are like all totally into him, you know. There's all these other people that are, for fairly good reason, concerned about what he says and what he does, because he has such an effect on people that just take him at his word and believe him. And oh boy, I wouldn't recommend it, because it's authentic self is the subtitle here. He's all about masks, like the hair. Apparently he wears lifts in his shoes, and I don't mean to like just drill down on the guy, but I feel like it's people, not that they would be here, I don't think, but maybe. I'm just saying, I'm kind of old. I've been watching him for a long time, and it's not fake news or you know, generated somewhere just to hurt him. And he did stuff wrong. Like, it's not just the government we just don't like Donald Trump, we're against him. That's ridiculous. They have to have reasons to do stuff. If that were not the case, January 6th would have worked. There's stuff in place. So but the trouble that he's in right now, and this is something that a lot of his proponents probably won't even look at and won't believe if they're told. So how do you get them to understand what you're saying? Don't try. They'll find out for themselves. Really, just stay in your lane. Stay away, you know? I mean, why invite trouble and conflict? Just let them go. But the guy you know, he told people right out the gate on the escalator about how rich he was, and he's been saying he's a billionaire. So it's interesting that he is asking, like, he's taking donations for his legal fund so he can campaign. What campaigning is he doing? He's just standing around shouting into microphones? I mean, I suppose that's campaigning, but that's like what he just does on a Tuesday. So what's the difference? Sorry, let me stick to the point. But it's like, I just had this thought, like, oh, I mean, I got it anyway, but he's always saying, if it can happen to me, it can happen to you, or it'll happen to you. Well, it is happening to him, and he's making sure it happens to the people that love him and listen to him and want to give him money. And I'm not talking about the people with a lot of money that are sort of in his class range. I'm talking about everybody else, the people that go to his rallies and buy all that merch crap. He's not paying his own bills. They are. He has a long history of not paying the bills. That's why it's like so mystifying. But like I said, I shouldn't be mystified because I don't believe they know the same stuff or allowing them to believe that it's something real. They'd rather believe all of the stuff they say about the left and Democrats and all of the stuff they say about all of the people. I guess, I don't know. And that's kind of like what we got going forward for a while, I guess, as far as those people and that is concerned. But for like the whole of everyone else, there's like the whole other part of the world that is not the right that supports Trump is not really that big of an element. They're gaining people, that is true. And this was something that happened that I really am mystified by this. I have heard a couple of times like, oh, Trump's getting some black vote. I know better than to believe he's got like hundreds of thousands of people that are black all jumping the, you don't even like saying it, but getting on the Trump train. It's just gross. But I saw Charlemagne the God yesterday saying that the Democrats didn't do this for us and the Democrats didn't do that for us, and so like we are burned out. And I get that, but what I also get is, what have you done to change it besides vote? Like, if it's bothering you that bad, get up off your ass and go get elected to be a better Democrat, because voting is not going to do it. And also, switching to the Republicans, not going to do it, because it's not set up to work for us that way. Some can, and some truly really love like being a Republican. I don't get it, because what it stands for, I still don't know, other than it's like anti-democratic policies and whatever. And I just don't see like I think Charlemagne the God's pretty darn smart, and I don't understand why he or anyone else could like. I think he's a lot younger than me, so he also may not know what all he needs to know about the man. But it doesn't even matter. Trump, I just feel like, my God, why him? If you're gonna decide to be a Republican, why pick the worst person on earth? Just my opinion. But so here's the thing. Charlie Kirk has been a big mouthpiece for him. He's a right-wing propagandist, I'm just gonna say, and he was always been a Trump guy, I guess, and he's been getting really like racist on his show, I guess. I've seen a few shows talking about it where they show him doing it actually, and I'm not even gonna repeat it, but he's racist against black people. And then so the remedy, so like as if that's gonna like change something, because supposedly he's like kicking Kirk off the Trump train for saying stuff like that, because he said something bad about a black professional. And so rather than, they're not gonna like, I don't know. See, I'm not like a Trump guy, and I'm affected. But here's the real thing, the real problem. Like, all of what I just said aside, there is a lot of, I feel like, well, we can see it, like, you're wondering, like, why are the Republicans not doing stuff in Congress? Why are they not legislating? Why are they saying no to everything? Now they're openly saying we don't want to deal with the border crisis that they made such a crisis of, because they don't want to give Biden a win. Even though, like, people wanted to sign, I think it's going to go through regardless, but like a whole faction of the government is this way, and they're more into serving and like mouthing this guy that's no longer in the government, and he's not good for the government. He doesn't like this country. He wants this country to be like his heroes in Russia and China, and well, the point is they're all some kind of communist countries, and oh my gosh, I heard people losing their minds. Russia hasn't been a communist country in forever. That's why he wants to bring back the Soviet Union. You understand politics real good. My opinion. I don't think they understand. And if you tell the guy you like him, it doesn't matter if you're the devil. He loves you. If you say good things about him, you want someone that's simple running your country or giving away your country or destroying your country, because that's what I feel like. Not his goal necessarily. His goal is to like get money, but he can be manipulated so easily, and he's not good with money. I mean, I take it back. He did manage to find a million weird little ways to stay like pretty rich, you know, and then he had the real estate, but I'm not gonna like go into a whole dissertation about, you know, that. But really, because of him, like, a lot of people have, I don't know what caused them specifically to do what they're doing, or to not do what they're supposed to be doing. Whatever it is, it kind of doesn't, I mean, it does matter if they're compromised in some kind of way, that, like a spy way or something, because I can't look at that and think, who would profit from us not being able to function, from our government not being able to function? And there's all these little angles, all these ways that, like, I honestly don't feel like anyone here from this country would have been able to just think up, unless they're like an evil mastermind from like a movie or something. I feel like, and I've always felt like, it was another country that's never liked us, has always had it out against us, and wants to see us fail. There's a couple of those, but there's one in particular that I believe is the culprit for a lot of this stuff. And then the other one, you know, other people can be swayed by things. But it's interesting the way that the most famous way that a person can be made a spy is if they have money problems, right? And also no scruples. So there you go. The dude is always scrabbling for money. If you were really strong, like a I guess lifting weights. I don't know what he means by a strong man, but his strong men are always crying. So I don't know. Yeah, he's very confusing. But I mean, yeah, money problems. Almost that alone. If you're living beyond your means, and you maybe have other stuff going on that, like, maybe you don't want your wife to find out about, or some kind of deals you don't want the government, you know, like, there's lots of ways people can be compromised. And I can't help but think, like, that's what's going on, because you went through all the trouble to become a U.S. whatever person and get elected just to, like, get in there and destroy things. If you're not a spy, I don't know what else to call you, you know? So, I feel like people complain a lot about the DOJ and Merrick Garland, and you might, like, a lot of Secret Service, they're still saying they have not rooted out all of the Trump sympathizers, And that brings me to the dogs, the biting dogs of the President Biden. Those dogs, I'm sure, have been trained to be alert to threats against, like, their people, which would be the Biden family. So when they started biting people, that's what I thought it was. Like, I wasn't just all, oh, the dogs have, like, whatever makes dogs bite when they shouldn't be biting people. You know, it's like, and I don't know why, like, no one on the news ever uttered those words, like, the dogs are trained to protect, so yeah. And it's pervasive, I'm sure, because it's happened many times where the government has been deeply infiltrated by, like, Russia at least once, China in and out a few times in the news about that. So there's all this other manipulation, and politicians don't seem like the strongest spined people, like Ted Cruz. Yeah, he's got spine like a licorice rope. Self-aggrandizing. I don't know. Honestly, these cars. What I started out with when I first looked at them and what's coming out now is two different things. But I guess I wanted to talk about that stuff too. But that stuff is not all of what there is, and that's the other thing. More and more, there's like for years, like the Arcturians and their channels have been saying that our entertainments, we're gonna stop being so violent and angry, basically. Which, you know, yay, but also at the same time, well, what is that gonna be? Because I don't want to watch all kid dog movies, you know? I do like some excitement and adventure and that kind of thing. So we'll see what that's gonna be like. But there's already stuff out there that's like uplifting and interesting without being gory, and so I'm actually glad to see that coming, and that's like a change in us. So what I'm getting at is our vibrations are gonna determine the shape of our world, basically, like our institutions, our lives. And so it's kind of hard to see from this blurry sort of rendering of, you know, is it a mandala? Is it an organism, like a cell dividing into, I don't know what it is. It's unclear going forward. So the divine feminine is the subtitle here, and that is part of what the shift is supposed to be about in our being, really. Like everybody, when I say our, people on the planet, basically. And I guess like a wave, it's gradual. You know, it's gonna, some people are gonna get hit with it harder. Some people are gonna, you know, get a lesser wake about it. Like, you know. Anyway, I think that going forward, we do have hope and potential, you know, and even, like, inspiration is the subtitle on this, and obviously this is a very happy, artistic thing that's talking about, it's got a paint set and music, like a violin, and what's that, pie? Looks like a slice of cherry pie on the floor for some reason. So, I don't know, cooking is creative. Does it look like a slice of pie or no? And then the 33 at the top. 33 is the number for spirit or God, however you refer to the universal consciousness. So, there's a lot to say on the planet from a lot of people. But this bird, singing brightness into the darkness. Well, there are nightingales, but I think it's like one of like only a couple of active nighttime birds. Interesting that they come out at night and start hollering. They wait for everybody to get home from work. I don't know. But yeah, standing on the world, talking at the top of their voice there. I just got a vision of like a million street preachers on soapboxes. Well, I mean, yeah, kind of what we got going on right now. So yeah, wow. Who needs fiction? Speaking of action and adventure, we have some exciting stuff going forward, you know, and there's going to be a lot of medical stuff that is going to be just so amazing. And from what I hear from sources, everything's going to be dealt with CRISPR, it sounds like. But good, because I want some real teeth again, and I don't want to bolt metal to my jaw and go through, oh my god, no thank you. But I was thinking about that this morning. I wonder how it would look with like baby teeth. I'm not a baby. That'd be so weird looking. Teething adults on airplanes. That's gonna be great. Okay, you know, I don't know what my deal is today, and I feel like this was a bit muddly. I don't know. I mean, it's meant in good spirit. In a good spirit. I don't know. Thank you and good night.